Good morning, everyone. Welcome to MOOC course. Myself, Dr. Neetu Jindal, Head of Department of Cons and Endo, is here to guide you all regarding root canal treatment through some simple and basic slides. Kindly pay attention and attempt multiple choice questions in the last of every topic. Thanks. I'll be starting with the clinical diagnosis of the caries. Introduction. Diagnosis is the determination of the nature of a disease condition by careful investigation of its symptoms and history. They are classified into subjective symptoms and objective symptoms. Subjective symptoms are those experienced and reported by the patients. Objective symptoms are those ascertained by the clinician through various tests. The corner or pillar of a clinical diagnosis are a good case history, a thorough clinical examination, relevant investigation or diagnostic test. Coming to the clinical examination, it can be divided as extraoral and intraoral examination. In extraoral examination, the extraoral clinical examination begins with the patient's dental history. While talking to the patient, the clinician should look for facial asymmetry or distensions. Intraoral examination, it begins with the general evaluation of the oral structures. Commonly used methods are visual and tactile and inspection, percussion, palpation, mobility and depressibility test, periodontal test, thermal test, anesthetic test, test cavity, transillumination, biting, staining, gutta-percha point tracing, electric pulp testing, and radiograph. Now there are special methods as well, like zero radiography, pulse oximetry, laser Doppler flowmetry, computerized tomography, digital subtraction radiography, MRI, RVG, computerized expert system, and thermographic imaging. Starting with the visual and tactile perception, it relies on checking the 3 C's: color, contour, and consistency. It is carried out with a mouth mirror, explorer, and a periodontal probe under dry conditions with a good illumination source. Palpation and percussion is done. A positive response to percussion indicates not only the presence of inflammation of PDL, but also the degree of inflammation. It is indicative of periodontitis. Mobility depressibility test. The test essentially consists of moving the involved tooth laterally in the socket using handles of 2 instruments, or more preferably using 2 index fingers. Pulp vitality test. Thermal test. Thermal tests are specially valuable diagnostic aids. It can be done using heat and cold test. Starting with the heat test, it can be performed using different techniques which will deliver different degrees of temperature. The preferred temperature for performing a heat test is 65.5 degrees Celsius or 150 degrees Fahrenheit. Its disadvantage is limited to the tooth which is tested. Cold test. Cold application can be performed in any of the following ways. A stream of cold air from a 3-way syringe directed against the crown of previously dried tooth. Use of ethyl chloride spray, which evaporates rapidly, absorbing heat and cooling the tooth surface. Application of ice stick. Sticks of ice are seldom used because they may warm when applied to the tooth and leak onto the gingiva, causing a false positive response. Cold water bath. Carbon dioxide snow at the temperature of 77 degrees Celsius or 108 degrees Fahrenheit minus, and or refrigerant difluoromethane is used. Ice is minus 78 degrees Celsius penetrate full coverage restoration. That carbon dioxide snow is a reliable means of testing pulp sensitivity of 98.7% with difluoromethane. Response to thermal test. The patient response to thermal and cold test are identical because the neural fibers in the pulp transmit only the sensation of pain. There are 4 possible reactions that the patient may experience. No response, it shows the tooth may be non-vital or vital, but giving a negative response due to excessive calcification, immature apex, recent trauma, or patient medication. Mild to moderate response, it proves degree of awareness of slight pain that subsides within 1 or 2 seconds after the stimulus has been removed, that is normal limits. Strong momentary painful response which subsides when the stimulus is removed is indicative of reversible pulpitis. Painful response which lingers after the removal of stimulus is indicative of irreversible pulpitis. Electric pulp tester.
This test, when testing for pulp vitality, uses nerve stimulation. The objective is to stimulate a pulpal response by subjecting the tooth to an increasing degree of electric current. A positive response is an indication of vitality and helps in determining the normality or abnormality of that pulp. No response to the electrical stimulus can be indication of pulp necrosis. Electric pulp testing is not done on the teeth with full coverage restoration because an electrical stimulus cannot pass undistorted through acrylic, ceramic, or metallic portions of a crown, and it is not done in the patient with cardiac pacemaker. Selective anesthetic testing. Selective anesthetic refers to the administration of local anesthetic to facilitate identification of the tooth causing a painful episode. Test cavity. This test allows one to determine pulp vitality. It is performed when other methods of diagnosis have failed. The test cavity is made by drilling through the enamel dentine junction of an unanesthetized tooth. The drilling should be done at low speed and without a water coolant. Sensitivity or pain felt by the patient is an indication of pulp vitality. No endodontic treatment is indicated. If no pain is felt, the cavity preparation may be continued until the pulp chamber is reached. If pulp is completely necrotic, endo treatment can be continued painlessly in many cases without anesthesia. This test is obviously at last resort and has an advantage over the test cavity, during which iatrogenic damage is possible. Sensitivity or pain felt by the patient is an indication of pulp vitality. No endodontic treatment is indicated in that case. Other diagnostic tests include transillumination test. It requires shining a bright light from the lingual or palatal surface of a tooth with viewing in a darkened room. Occlusal pressure test or biting test. A frequent complaint is pain on biting or chewing. A clinical test that stimulates the chief complaint is the occlusal pressure test. There are different methods to do the occlusal pressure test that include orange wood stick, tooth slot, Burlew disc, wet cotton roll. An interesting clinical observation in patients with tooth infarction is pain is often experienced when biting force is released rather than during the downward chewing motion. Staining. There are two methods to stain a tooth. Remove the filling from suspected tooth and place 2% iodine in cavity preparation. The iodine stains the fractured line dark. Mix a dye with zinc oxide eugenol and place it in the cavity preparation after filling has been removed. The dye will seep out and color the fracture line. Have a patient chew a disclosing tablet after taking out the filling in the suspected fractured tooth. The line will be stained. Purpose of staining is to detect cracked tooth syndrome. Gutta-percha point tracing with a radiograph. Its purpose is it can localize the endodontic lesion to the specific tooth. In addition, this test aids in differential diagnosis between a periodontal and endodontic lesion. Radiography. One of the most important diagnostic aids, radiographs permit visual examination of the oral structure that would otherwise be unseen by the naked eye. But the radiograph is a two-dimensional representation of a three-dimensional object. Lesions with the tooth observed by radiographs. Pulp death in a developing tooth is readily apparent as the root ceases to develop. Pulp stones indicative of inflammation. Internal resorption seen following traumatic injury. Widening of periodontal space occurring due to acute apical periodontitis, acute apical abscess, occlusal trauma. Changes associated with the chronic periapical abscess and external root resorption. Thank you. Remember the 3 R's. Respect yourself, respect everyone else, and be responsible for all your actions.